Um, I hope everybody is feeling what I've been feeling, which is that we're in this incredible time of consciousness shifting. And you can just feel it on so many levels. You just hear so many people having remarkable new experiences, sort of feeling like they have gifts to give, feeling like we are ready, and maybe something new is emerging. So I wanted to invite you, my dear friends, all of whom I just light up when I spend time with you and really appreciate having you in my life. And I wanted us to get together to bring our gifts to each other and inspire each other. And so that's what we're here for. It's going to be a new moon about 2 o'clock in the morning tonight. So this is kind of the evening before the new moon, but close enough. And obviously that's a good omen for new beginnings. So I'm hoping this is a new beginning of like a little creative pulsing that we can do. And I was feeling like I was going to call tonight arithmetic, because I've been just doing a lot of math as part of my studies, and I didn't want that to become part of the evening, but I did think that we might be able to have some rhythms. So it's reading, writing, and rhythm. That's our arithmetic, right? And it should just be the basics. And I don't know that we're gonna get Ryan and Karina before I'm done yakking, so we'll just have to take a break when they come and welcome them. But in the meantime, I know we got a couple of people have brought their guitars. A few people have brought what they have written. A few people maybe are gonna just wing it, give us something straight from the heart.
And son, you put together something for tonight too, right?
Yes, and I myself have brought a couple of things to share to, just take it out of my little world and put it into the bigger world for what that's worth.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
I vote for you starting it off.
Okay, all right.
Every second.
All right, since I invited everybody, I will
Sure.
go first. All right. Now, I actually have 3 things to read, but I'm going to read one first, and then I'm going to read another one later when everybody's here. This one, it captures the essence of the moment and what I've been going through. And it's from my dream journal. And like dreams, I imagine some of it will be really exciting and some of it will just leave you like a little bit like, where are we now? You know how dreams are? So just roll with it, and hopefully it will be valuable for you too. A liminal fog was covering the waters of the dream. A liminal fog was covering the waters of the dream. All I needed to do was thrust my arm upwards and cause the fog to swirl into a spiral. The movement shifted the gravity and lifted me up. As I began to realize that I could fly, continuing to guide myself upwards in this yoga of the spiral dance, I noticed myself awake. And I noticed my beloved Alan was holding me, and with his inner eye, he was also dreaming but awake. And the density of the fog took on a tightness and a heaviness as the weightless world transformed into my sleeping body in the bed. My attention lingered on the sensations near my heart and breath, at the coherent edges of 2 worlds. 2 atmospheres in fluid immersion overlapped at this border, each an invisible place on the permeable membrane of a separate world. For just a moment, I inhabited both, free to fly and free to continue to rise, swirling into the fog of form, and in the other, awakening, aware of a compression of energy and a different gravity holding our bodies as the watchers watched.
Wow.
Yum.
Yeah. Describe that. What I mean, make it, I can feel what you were, or you got me into what you were actually experiencing.
Good, good. Well, I think I'll just stop there, because it does kind of ramble. It goes in a lot of different places.
How did it
No?
come?
Oh, Alex is like, no, don't stop.
How did it come into you? How did that? Was it like a?
This is a dream journal.
Yeah.
I have been compelled to write down these thoughts that are lingering in my mind in the morning, and to, like, it was really special to be in two places at the same time, knowing that I was going to be able to bring it back, into
Yeah.
this world.
That's cool.
Are you familiar with dream yoga?
Yeah,
Yeah.
a little bit. I
Yeah.
mean, I've read
Right.
Namkai Norbu's book,
Right.
Dream Yoga.
Do you always wait till the morning to write all this, or do you sometimes allow yourself to be awakened and then write?
Well, let's just say I write when I feel the
Urged.
when it's clear that I need to get this before it's gone. So that could be any time of day, but I do really like to do these morning
Right. When it's fresh.
moments. Yeah. So,
When did you write that?
August 18th.
Oh, okay.
Recently.
A couple days ago.
It's like
Yeah,
3
today's
days.
the 22nd,
It was on
Wow.
Monday.
4 days ago, yeah. Monday.
It strikes me that perhaps.
Hot off the press.
It strikes me that you are speaking about these two different worlds, but I wonder who is the narrator. I wonder if there was not a third position.
Well, that's who the watchers are.
Yeah,
I feel like there's the universe of watchers, that we're the players in a certain sense.
And you have your own observer watching that, and
Yeah,
so you say
the
that there's the
I
watchers.
in the dream was this hand swirling the mist.
Yes, and watching yourself do that. I mean, I think that's important for me to keep track of that while you're watching all the other players come in and all the other dimensions moving in, that you're still there. He's still the oversoul person who's still watching. Yeah, and I feel as you wrote it, it's tactile for me and sensate for me, and because of that, I'm able to and feel the embodiment of that. And it was wondrous.
Yay. Thanks.
What was it last year sometime? There was a film, we saw a film or something, and it was very etheric like that. It was, do you remember? There was a film that you showed. It was something like The Watcher or something kind of transcendental.
That it triggered in her.
That,
Yeah,
that
trigger.
Alan show?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
I'll
I
think
remember
about it.
too.
I'll think of
I
it.
thought it was
We
something
watched
that
it.
you,
I remember you read something.
Oh.
Was this,
Yeah.
I mean, that you had experienced or dreamt
Oh.
about. Maybe it was a year or two ago.
Oh,
trip.
The
Yeah.
best stories where they just take you
for you
there.
guys who live
Yeah.
here, the Merchants of Stars is a character that is actually emerging as a book. It's a memory, I think, of our immortal civilization that has led us to this incarnation. But it was a connection with the belief in the world of beings that have been designing the universe for billions of years, hundreds of billions of years, and that create universes like they're in the business of designing worlds around stars, and whatever the qualities of the star is, like its color, its light, its gravity, its density, and the worlds around that are designed to work with that star's energy. And so I had a story about that we did last, I think it was Christmas, right? It was
The
Christmas
reading
Eve.
was so vivid that it blows my mind that I didn't see the video. Like, I remember.
I have the video of that, Barbara. You
I have
can
one
play
here.
that.
I think
was
Alan
great.
might have said he wanted to show us something, but he couldn't find it or get it up or something, like, I don't know. But yeah.
Could be. Maybe it was
No,
like
it's not his problem. He could never not get it up.
Or I didn't,
an interpretation. Yeah.
access it somewhere.
Yeah, I think I do have a video, a reinterpretation of Krypton. You know, another star system, another civilization.
Krypton, a second look.
Krypton, the sequel.
Question, just to the writer of this. Could you talk a little bit about, or are you able to sense within yourself what kind of energy animates your description or your experience? What is it? Because I'm having an experience that is actually quite specific, and it has an intention within it. And I'm wondering if we are connected on that level. I mean, it could be you can have a different one. I'm just wondering.
Well, I would say that my intention comes from my sense of persona, like who I believe myself to be. And when I was a little kid, if you'd have asked me, what do you want to be when you grow up? I wanted to be an actress or a teacher, or both. And I feel that this is the medium that I'm in. Like, I love to tell stories. I love to inhabit stories. I feel like I have a natural sensibility of theater and embracing embodiment, like learning through embodiment. And so for me, creating a story like this is embodying some form of eternal consciousness and inhabiting it with words and with the story. And to do that as a way of sharing that experience in a way that helps people remember, like that's who we are, that's how we create. So
Yeah, I mean, I completely hear that, and for me, it really was that to create, and that it is animated by this ineffable, inexplicable, primordial wonder, and the desire that moves the hands through the fog and shapes it, right? Where does it come from? We all have that, though. Yeah, the wonder of that. Yeah, so it was lovely to hear that, because I think that's our only hope.
That's my favorite band. Inexplicable Primordial Wonder. Say that 3 times fast with a mouthful of bubble gum. Sorry.
I also like the word ineffable.
yes, I took notes on that. I have a note in here, ineffable, from that evening.
That's a good word to toss around every once in a while. That's a great word.
I completely agree.
Stage.
The end stage. When the end of the world came, only theaters were left out of the whole lot. To call a few suitcases with odds and ends of stage debris theaters may be a stretch, but if one adds a cracked Doric column protruding from the sands, a remnant of the Titus Andronicus production, and a portion of Juliet's balcony, jutting out from the dune, lo and behold, there it emerges, the theater, even if in a vestigial, spectral form. Who knew that Ground Zero was a stage rather than a desert? In any event, and good grief was there an event, during the final hours, due to some unexpected twist within the human genome, there surfaced a deep-seated theatrical wiring within the collective psyche. From a purely psychological perspective, if nothing else, it did make a certain kind of sense. The world was coming to an end. It was enough to look up to know it was curtains. So everyone naturally wanted to act out. No point in denial when one is on fire. Because of this confrontation with finality, it became suddenly acceptable to feel. Fear, for example, grief, unstoppable giggling fits, inconsolable weeping, and other sundry hysterics became a norm. The inner and the outer forms of repression, deployed against emotions for millennia, dissolving in the light of the final flames. Dying in throes of extreme aliveness was deemed a far better choice than pretending that everything was perfectly all right. A lethal habit that, which some surmised, caused the pickle everybody was in all by itself. And as everyone knows, extreme living is what theater does best. So onwards into the performative. To boot, there emerged a surprising metaphysical wrinkle in all the play acting that ensued. It was realized that one cannot die on stage. That it was an ontological impossibility to do so. Despite the fact that thousands upon thousands were vanishing all around, even in death they were playing a part of a corpse, to be sure. But at that point it was a fully justifiable artistic decision, even if not consciously made, implying some form of aliveness even under those circumstances. So maybe that was it, that incorrigible hankering after deathlessness that made everybody yearn to be a performer during the final hours. And so perform they did. Throwing themselves into assorted scenes from the world repertoire, the players moved to and fro on the stages of life through the 7 ages of men, striving to be true to something in themselves by becoming somebody else. Everyman, Peer Gynt, Stanley Kowalski, Blanche Dubois, Hamlet, of course. Animated by performance, the actors raged against the skies, their gestures and speeches casting a faint shimmer of volition across oblivion. One could say that performing during the end times was a symbolic, though futile, assertion of independence from fate, as well as a belated revolt against materialistic nihilism. Since doing nothing, a perfectly reasonable thing to do at that point, was somehow not an option, devaluing the sense that the players themselves at their core were merely a bunch of randomly selected, senseless atoms. However, there was no one to say any of it. All the philosophers dematerialized in one fell swoop during the initial impact, the uselessness of abstractions becoming fully apparent at the moment of actual physical perishing. Similarly, all the theologians were gone as well, having fled to their respective promised lands, though it did occur to some of them that death may not be the enemy of life, but rather its final unveiling. Regardless of what anyone might have said, however, the last ones played their roles with great degree of panache, lifting their hands towards the infinite in protest and supplication, feet walking or dancing, later dragging beneath the corpus, the sun and moon looking down, betraying nothing. When the stars themselves started vanishing en masse, the vastness of cosmic space began to open up even more, its emptiness perceived as an eerie summoning. In response to it, some folk remembered that famed line that, quote, "to make an end is to make a beginning," end quote, which became an inspiration to distill one's life into a single act of vivid expression, either in gesture, or a song, or a monologue, or a scene. The thinking went that if encapsulated in a compelling artistic form, supported by the dramatic memory of the ages, this seed of essential expression could potentially survive Armageddon itself. Thus, the play acting continued. When facing the void, we perform. Perhaps in the beginning was not a word, but an act. And the invitation is this. I'm going to play a piece of music and invite you to enter the inner stage of your utmost, innermost being. And ask yourself the question, or ask that space to give you what we've been talking about. A single act of vivid expression that encapsulates what your life yearns to be known as. The essence of your uttermost, primordial, inner, ineffable expressivity. That. We all have that. In the beginning was an act. I would actually personally believe that. Not a word. But it can be a word too. But you will seek, and what you find, I will be just grateful to hear, because again, I feel that this is that seed of truest expression in all of us is really where we need to start to actually birth a new way, a new world into being. So, this piece that I'm going to ask you to listen to, it's just a quick music piece. This is from Red Violin, that film. I don't know if you've seen it, right? And the Red Violin it's a kind of a transmission of essence, of aliveness of this woman, right? From one generation to another, and enlivens all the spaces that it enters, and the music enlivens all the spaces that it enters. So death becomes life, right? So this will be this piece. So if you could close your eyes, just become one with yourself, and then see what comes. If you invite that innermost desire for expression to tell you what it is, yeah, and perhaps it's you'll be able to say, maybe you can talk about this, but even better, if you could just enact it, that would be better.
What I'm noticing is how life is speaking. I'm beginning to wake up out of the ashes, or what is emerging, what is new. So I go into the garden, and all the plants are speaking to me. The leaves, I feel them when they talk to me. But more importantly, I feel the mind of my cells are waking up. I feel space inside me. I feel spaciousness. I feel, I go to the mirror and I look into the mirror and I see my face changing all the time. I see people when they have inspiration, and I look at what is emerging, and I don't see death, I see life. I see, yes, it's the end of a time. It's natural. It's a cycle. It's a cycle. And we're waking up into a new age. And so I look at what's closest to me. I look at people, I look inside my body, I look in the garden, what is emerging? So this beautiful music is like, what sings, what is the sprout that's coming out of the ground? And I watch that, and my concentration's on that. That's what I see. I don't look at the big picture like mass destruction. I go, oh no, there's new life, it's coming, it's meant to be. And where is it showing up? And the play between the dimensions. So I feel myself walking between two dimensions like you. So I'm just aware of that and feeling it in my body, because that's how I know it. Like you talk about embodiment, you know? So that's enough for me for now.
So it brought up all this stuff, my inner stuff. It was really intense emotion. And it brings me into this concept that I've been studying for 20 years, which is that we as humans are so special compared to AI because we have an emotional operating system. And so we trigger emotion, and that's what makes us human. And so I've been studying emotion from a planetary perspective. And I created my concept of planetary rulers, which has to do with these figures that you study on emotion, and they're metaphors based on emotion. And you study the planetary rulers from ancients to get an understanding of each of our emotional forces and winds. And so, to me, the ultimate is if we understand each of our planetary rulers, and we get to another level as humans, where we can relate to the stars more. Because as a scientist, I think that we all are affected by magnetic gravitational forces. And the largest magnetic gravitational influencers are the planets circling around our heads. And whether we like it or not, we're impacted by them, and we're impacted emotionally. And so that's my study. And I've been studying that. So, but anyway, that brought up to me that is the emotion and how powerful it is. And that's what makes us different from AI, is our emotions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome Ashoka, who came to join us, and he is a very deep and profound soul, and even though he didn't get an opportunity to experience the story or the music, I think that the invitation, once you know we're going around the circle here, we've all been invited to express where the music that Alexandra played for us took us after she...
That suggests that the primordial wiring of the human psyche that becomes visible at the moments of highest crisis is theatrical in nature. So
Is the
it's
what?
theatrical in nature.
Yes.
So it's the god Shiva dances the world into existence and also dances the world out of existence. So he is a performer, he's a king of actors. So this is really the story about that, about the end dance, which is also the beginning dance. So, and the invitation was, please find your inner stage of the end, which is also the big stage of beginning. And what do you hear there? Is there song? Is there dance? Is there other words? And this is what just happened.
And so,
We had two beautiful contributions.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you arrived just
Yeah.
in the moment.
You're next. You're next. You're next. Nobody.
For me, I'm still sitting with your core metaphor, if you want to call that, or analogy of the act versus the word, and the last moment would call forth a theatrical response. And to me, that's kind of, it's more like a mythic response, like mythology is, theatrical in a way, or theater's based a lot on that. So what would be the core role I would like as a storyteller? That's how my mind works. It's like which of the heroes would I be? What heroic act, or what would I be? Hamlet going to live or not, or Odysseus, or I don't know. I don't have an answer to that, but so I just find myself sitting in that place because it's a very rich contemplation, and I like things that go to the depths like that, and you sit with it for a while to see what sense it makes for me. I love the idea that at that
in that moment, possibly a new myth will emerge, or new mythic characters, or one's core mythic hero or heroine would emerge because everything else is stripped away. You know, the old world has, you know, exploded or vaporized, or perhaps we've just all ascended, you know, in a more generous possibilities rather than a holocaust of apocalypse. It's just, you know, we're saying goodbye to the, you know, to the old world in a way, and the old world myths perhaps too. It's kind of rambling now, but that's where I'm at, is just sitting with that. And the music just gave me a chance to sit more with what the short story engendered.
It's exactly the process.
Mm.
Mine was one word of joy, just heart-opening joy, just spiraling, dancing joy. Thank you.
I love it. I'm writing everything down because it's very good.
You're ready, huh?
Bring it on.
No long goodbyes.
You still here?
No short hellos.
Me?
Yeah, you're up now.
Okay. All right, I'll put my cell phone here. It's what it brought up for me initially was some sadness. I felt very sad from hearing the piece, and it tied in with several conversations I've had today, especially about the end of the world and the new world coming together, and it's just very sad to lose so much of what the old world was. But at the same time, once you go through that sadness, you're ready for the new, and I felt like that became more alive by hearing what you have been writing. That this story is something that is many people are beginning to experience and expressing from their own points of view. The end of one era and the beginning of a new, so the music cemented that in for me. Yeah. So yeah, that's how I felt. Next up, Pleiades.
You had a line in there, transmuting death into life, and I just saw very clearly this image of this really old cemetery and a little baby's grave, and this weed flower pushing its way up through the cement of the grave and just blossoming into this beautiful flower, and then the flower became little fairy, the essence of the child's soul transmuting into that flower and then becoming this little fairy, and then our little fairy came around and his little buddies and started a whole new realm of life and joy. It's like, okay, from death springs life.
Sweet.
I just saw the metaphor of a seed, which doesn't have much to do with the stage, but as seeds many times need heat or fire to germinate, I just kept seeing his hand with a seed in it, and how seeds can last for thousands of years and still be alive somewhere in there, just a little water. That was the metaphor I kept coming up with.
Yeah, for me, I just felt like a synthesis of dimensions and golden ropes, like pulling me up, but really it was like filtering down. So it was simultaneously ascending and embedding.
So I also had a plant, some kind of fairy the inner being that you were bringing up in us. So I have a grove of redwood trees where I live, so I kind of imagined that or lived that, I guess. And all the plants, I mean, they do have energy and they're pulsating with their elements or elementals or whatever, their energy. And so just in a, and then there was a fairy, maybe it was me, I'm not sure, but a fairy just in a dance with all the plants.
A dance.
Spiraling, yeah.
Spiraling.
And a dance of love, yeah, not, I mean, like harmony, just playful but loving and, yeah. It's nice, thank you for that.
Yeah, that was quite a journey. And, for me, the most vivid thing was very close to the beginning was the Doric pillar coming out of the sand and this vast emptiness of the stage, like waiting for what was supposed to happen. And so that absence of all of the things that could have filled the stage was very present for me. And that emptiness being temporary, like because it was calling forth, the very fact that it was a theater was very much like anticipating, like we know something is supposed to happen, and to end it with that affirmation of like, act is the beginning, it was really a completion. It was really it was like after a long inhale, like finally the expression comes out, So it was very satisfying because it felt so desolate before, the majority of the time it was very sad and very remorseful, like things had come to an end. It was death, but it wasn't grief. It was just over. So that was cyclical. It was kind of okay. It was all in nature. So it was very zen.
Nice. That's nice.
And now just say, can I just share what happened to me when I went inside? Surprisingly, the gesture was what distilled itself for me. And the gesture was, I want to perform it right now. Because I'm going to choose someone here for this. I'm going to choose you. And this was the gesture. The reaching for another. That creates another universe, a new universe.
A new universe.
Yeah, that relationship, yes? Another. Yeah.
An invitation, it seems.
Sorry?
An invitation,
Yes.
it seems.
Yes. Yes. That was so fun for me because I wrote lots of notes.
Thank you for the experience. Thank you for the invitation. That was beautiful. To give everybody a chance to respond. That was great.
I feel like a song is being called forth
Okay.
from this. I was going to do something else, but
Let's hear it for spontaneity.
Yeah.
I actually wrote this song in Phoenix, Arizona. It's called Song in the Phoenix. Which is what we're talking about here. Ancient prophecy echoes in many a tongue. It's a new world coming. It's been written and whispered, shouted and sung. New world's coming. So many people of the world born of the flame, singing at birth's a holy name. To fly to the sun till blazing in glory. A new world arises to continue the story. It's the new world coming. There's a new world coming. There's got to be a new world coming. New world coming. Oh, the lands and the sea on the face of this earth. New world coming. Or the fields of creation where the Spirit gives birth. New world coming. Wave upon wave, pass the torch on. New world coming. It's glowing brighter and brighter, becoming the dawn of a new world coming. Yeah, a new world coming. There's got to be a new world coming. New world coming. You know prophecy may or may not come true. World coming. Perhaps it depends on what you and I do. World coming. This world is erupting, but all I can hear is the song of the phoenix ringing in my ear. That's what it's singing about. Coming to be a new world coming. Coming to carry us home.
Beautiful, thank you.
Classic.
That world's been coming for a while. I wrote that in 1985.
There's two songs, but I'll do the first one, and if you want to hear the second one, let me know if I can.
No
We'll take a silent vote after the first one.
So these are my birthday
pressure.
death songs.
Your birthday what songs?
Death songs.
Oh boy.
So it's just like keeping with your
With
theme.
your
Yeah.
theme. There you go. The phoenix here.
Yeah.
And, but in a good way. I mean, we're all gonna cross over to that threshold. And
That's the
this first one is called "Last Day on the Island."
Mm-hmm.
Last day on the island, the sun rises easily, and everybody knows a rose, and everybody knows the pain of the thorn. We give a cup of glory and a dash of fine, a shot of life and a chunk of time. Times change and the tides turn. Some bridges got crossed, some bridges got burned. Life changes and life goes on. You learn some lessons and keep moving on. Open the doors and feel the grace. Put some grin on your chin and a smile on your face. Live in the yes, 'cause life's just a moment. Give it your best until your last morning. You're either at home, inside every moment, or behind your closed doors. Ain't nobody home. Higher than high, we know the joy. Deeper than deep, we feel the pain. Oh Christ, on one bended knee. If it's the last day on the island for me, well then I'm going to my island in the wind. There's never been an island quite like my island. So smile to the ocean, give some kisses to the wind, some wishes to the moonlight, and a hug to a friend. We get a cup of glory and a dash of fine, a shot of life and a chunk of time. Times change and the tide has turned. Some bridges got crossed, some lessons got learned. Last day on the island, last day on the island, oh, last day.
Nice, man. Very nice. Sweet.
Thank you. So I have another death song. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah.
When I go, give up my days. When I offer up my dancing shoes and wave goodbye, babe, I'll go riding with the lion, sleeping in the palace, playing in the garden, drinking from the chalice of love. When I go, give up my days. When I offer up my guitar strings, I'll go singing in the desert to Jesus in the manger, praying to the angels, hey, keep me out of danger. 'Cause trouble, I've seen trouble in a bad way. You know I give it up so gladly. Ooh, when I go. When I give up my days, when the angels come and carry me away, I'll go barefoot in the starlight, rising from the fire, shaking off the ashes as my spirit rises higher. Surrounded by the wonder of love, my spirit will rise high up above. Ooh, when I go, when I give up my days, when you no longer see my smiling face, it's 'cause I've gone dancing with eternity. I splashed into the universe, sorry for the bridges burned, but I finally found the last word to my song. Ooh, when I'm gone, I'll go riding with the lion, sleeping in the palace, playing in the garden, drinking from the chalice. I'm singing in the desert to Jesus in the manger, praying to the angels, hey, keep me out of danger. I'm barefoot in the starlight, I'm rising from the fire, I'll be shaking off the ashes as my spirit rises higher. I'm gone dancing with eternity, I splashed into the universe. And I'm sorry for the bridges burned, but I finally found the last word to my song. When I'm gone. Happy Death Day.
Yeah. I enjoyed that song when you played it at your birthday party too.
The desert images, Jesus in the manger and all of it. They're beautiful.
Thank you.
It's surrealist. I love surrealism. Thank you.
So you're figuring your last moment will be. So that's how the song ends. Those are the last
No,
words.
I got 2 more death songs, but they're happier. So
I mean, in
next
that-
year you'll hear them 2 other
In the
ones.
song, you're
Yeah.
saying like I finally learned the last words of the song. What I guess would be your last words, right? Saying that
You were
song.
paying attention.
I listen to words of
Yeah.
songs for sure.
I mean, your last word is done.
Yeah, the last word to my song. It's like boom.
Oh, I guess that was the end of the song. It's a challenge when you don't know how to end it otherwise.
Right. It's like okay.
That can happen.
Well, some people say like in Nirvana is the this, and then the last line of your poetry. You know, the last word of your poem. That's Nirvana.
Huh.
So it's just like when you find the last word of your song, you're done. You're like, boom, out of here, out of beer.
I want to thank you. This is really poignant for me because I just learned of a dear friend's death yesterday. I was really shocked. And I feel just cheated that I didn't get to talk to him. I didn't, because your song was reminding me of I would have liked to have been to share that portal with him and I feel a little resentful that his wife didn't tell me about this. She said, I know you two had a very special relationship. I feel cheated. But your song is something I could wish for, that he had that. And I was imagining it through your song. And it's just, thank you. It's,
Thank you.
really
Sense of happy completion.
it's needed. Thank you. I decided after listening to you that I'm going to sit and write with him and talk to him. I can still talk to him. But thank you. And your song is like, may we all be blessed with such a joyful, acknowledgement and release. And thank you. Thank you for expressing as you do, so much as you do, and bringing such joy and mirth to the world.
No, thank you for appreciating.
You touched me since the moment I met you.
And I didn't get arrested for it.
It was an earlier time.
It was in the ethers,
Well, I could share, since I didn't hear the story, it's a little hard, but I could share a kind of a death rebirth story, if you like. So Ashbury, right? And I dropped out of the University of Wisconsin after I had a spiritual awakening via LSD. And I grew up in an atheist family, had no religion, spirituality whatsoever. And one day in 1966, I guess, a buddy of mine said, you want to try this? And I said, what's that? And he said, it's something they call LSD. And I said, well, what is it? He said, well, just try it. I said, okay, all right. So I'm 19 years old at the time, living with 4 of my friends in Wisconsin. And it's the middle of winter, it's 30 below zero out. And we went outside to this park, and I started to freeze to death. Literally started to freeze to death. So I just got back to the house just in time, and I thought, well, maybe this is it. Maybe I'm going to die now. And I started gradually thawing out, but my psyche became completely frozen. And I felt like I didn't know where I was, who I was, and they were going to take me to the hospital. And they brought over all my friends to try to help me resolve this feeling of dying. And nobody could help me. And finally they brought over a friend of mine who was a well-known musician named Shocky Roth. Maybe some of you have heard of him. A very close friend of mine. And he stood behind me, and he said, "What's some of your favorite music?" And I said, "I love Indian music, Indian classical music." So he took one of my albums of this very famous Indian woman named Subbalakshmi, and he stood behind me, and he raised up my arms, and he started making me dance to the music. And I literally went from a psychotic, completely frozen state of hell into my very, 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 very first experience of divinity.
Wow.
Very first. I was swimming with the gods, dancing with the gods. And I was a very radical socialist in those days. In fact, Wisconsin was one of the most radical universities in America besides Columbia and Berkeley. So I was a socialist communist major. The very next morning, I went down to the registrar's office, dropped out of history, and became a religious studies. The next thing I know, we're in this classroom. I said, I gotta find out what was that? What happened to me? I had no idea, right? And so me and a bunch of my hippie friends, we all enrolled in this famous so-called Buddhist scholars class. And he was giving a lecture on the 20 different stages to enlightenment, right? And he got to the 15th stage or something like that, and he put his heads in his hands like this, and he couldn't remember the 15th. So there were like 5 or 6 of us sitting all together. We all got up simultaneously. We all looked at each other and said, "This guy is never going to be able to tell us anything." So we all got up. We left class. We went down to the registrar's office and dropped out of the University of Wisconsin together. We all got in 2 cars and headed to Haight-Ashbury. Because we heard, hey, that's where it's happening. Maybe we can find some answers. So I get to Haight-Ashbury, and someone says, "Hey, there's this really interesting guy speaking downtown San Francisco. Would you like to go hear him?" I said, "Yeah, sure." I went down and I heard this guy, and from the minute he opened his mouth, I knew he was my teacher. He was the most amazing human being I'd ever heard. And, but he said, "No drugs." Meanwhile, I have this hippie apartment in Haight-Ashbury, Indian bedspreads all over the place. I had every drug you can possibly imagine. I said, "What am I going to do with all my drugs?" So I called a party together. I called all my hippie friends together up into my loft, and I said, "I got some news for you." And I said, "I can't do drugs anymore." And they were like, "Huh? What, man, bro? What you talking about, man?" I said, "I can't do drugs anymore. I found my teacher." So I went around to the circle and I handed out all the drugs to everybody. And they left, and I didn't see a lot of them after that. It's like I had kind of left the fold, the Grateful Dead kind of fold, where drugs were everything. Right? So a couple months after that, there was a rumor in San Francisco, like there often was, that a big earthquake or something was going to happen, and all the psychics conferred that it was going to happen. The beginning of July 1968, and about 20 of us from the Gurdjieff work went to a Chinese restaurant, and somebody opens up a fortune cookie, and it says, "Leave town immediately. Disaster is imminent." So, 100 of us went to the High Sierras.
A powerful fortune cookie.
Yeah, 100 of us, and all my teacher students from all over the West Coast and all over the place.
Who was your teacher?
His name is Willem Nyland. He was with Gurdjieff for 40 years. And so we all went up to the High Sierras. And the Gurdjieff work is very, very simple. When you wanted to know about enlightenment, and you went and saw him, and he'd say, "Oh, you want to know about enlightenment? Here, take this." He'd hand you a shovel. You go out there and dig all day long, and after you dig all day long, you come and talk to me about enlightenment. See how you feel, right?
These guys, they know all about that. They tell you.
So that's what we did.
Fill it back
And
up.
we, and not only that, you do in the practice of mindfulness, you intentionally do things that make no sense whatsoever. So we're out in the forest. So our teacher said, "Okay, now there's a big gravel path. Now take all the big pebbles and move them to the right side of the path. And mindfully, by the way. And take all the little pebbles and mindfully move over to the right side. So that's what we did for hours. And then, this is 1968, there's lots of magic happening around here, right? So there were 100 of us, and there were probably 20 kids, and the kids were all down the lake. And the lunch bell rang, and we all came up to this beautiful clearing. We were at 6,500 feet. And someone said, look, and it was a perfectly blue sky. And someone said, look, and there was a rainbow cloud, every color of the rainbow. I don't know if you've ever seen one. They're extremely rare. Floated directly over our camp. And even the children were silent because we knew we were in the presence of something really amazing, right? That night, our teacher gave a lecture. We all gathered around the fireplace and built a big fire. And he gave a lecture on how to be mindful, right? And basically, it's three things that you try to do. You try to be totally present in the moment, impartial to whatever you're thinking or feeling, and aware of yourself, physically present wherever you are, right? And so I'm 21 years old, and I just didn't even know about anything spiritual until 6 months prior to that. So I was a complete beginner's mind. I had no preconceptions about anything at all. So he's guiding us in this guided meditation about crossing this bridge, the bridge of consciousness, and on the other side is God. Right? And I'm sitting there and meditating, and all of a sudden I look out in the forest, and there's a bright light. And the next thing I know, it entered my body. And at that moment, I saw God. I became God. Everything was known. No drugs, by the way. No drugs. Everything was known. And the three qualities of the Godhead are omnipresence, everywhere, simultaneously, at the same moment in the entire universe. Omniscience, everything is known. There's nothing that's not known. And omnipotence, all-powerful. Nothing can possibly tarnish the light of God. And so I'm in this state, and then the fundamental characteristic of it, by the way, which relates to your story, is there was absolutely no trace of personality, no trace of I whatsoever. And so all of a sudden, this light left me, and I'm sitting there at the fire, and I just started weeping. I cried for 3 weeks. I couldn't stop crying. Because I could not accept being a mortal human being on this planet. And that's my story, and I'm still trying to accept being a mortal on this planet. There's a lot of it I really don't understand. It seems really weird.
When you find out what number, when you find out what number 15, when you find out what number 15 is, then you will.
That's the problem. I never found out what the next 10 stages of enlightenment.
That's right. What happened? Did you ever wonder what happened to that professor? All those people walking out, did he commit suicide or something?
No, he went home and studied the other
Yeah.
flights. The next class, we all caught up.
I'm so glad to hear that.
But that's really
Practice
funny
till
you
you get it
mentioned
right.
that, because another professor of mine, I don't know if you ever read Jean-Paul Sartre, right, and Albert Camus, talk about the most depressing
Existential.
existentialists in the world. Well, one of our professors, he was of course in existentialism, and I had to struggle to keep awake in his class early in the morning. It was the most boring class I've ever taken in my, and the most negative. depressing. And he was a manifestation of Sartre and Camus' depression.
Oh my God.
And then when I dropped out and I went to Haight-Ashbury, I found out that he was lighting his hot water heater in Wisconsin, and it blew up and killed him.
Wow.
So that's really bizarre that you happened to mention that.
This
So-
calls to mind a story that happened to me just tonight, because it just happens that there's a vibrational quality to consciousness that happens to manifest all around us. And, we're so used to just being in the physical world, we don't realize that it's the vibrations that are creating those experiences, right? But this fellow that you're talking about that was so immersed in the depression of Sartre and Camus, and then, how he met his end through, trying to light a fire and instead it blew up. So a phenomenon happens to me that when I go into trying to tell a story about, say, something that is really bugging me and something that is really, I like to have a certain sense of being in equilibrium and, accepting the perfection and all that is. And, a lot of times I can really hang out there, but get me going about something that, some lesson I learned along the way and how I felt at the time, and I start reliving that emotion. And I was doing that, I was trying to tell Alan about how, when I was a kid, these people who were victims really bugged me, and it really made me mad, and I was really unable to accept that this is how they were, and I was flashing my anger on them, and as I was trying to talk about this, I stepped on a bee, and it hurt my foot, and the whole story was over, and I was feeling the pain, right? And I had to reflect on the fact of here I was blissing out, talking about how great reality is, and I go into this spin about something that wasn't great, and the universe just caught right up to me. It's okay, we're listening, So, and that's happened at other times, but that's the most recent example.
Yeah, I think it was parasites. You were really
Be careful
about to-
what you wish for.
Yeah, you're about to get into a rant on parasitic people.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then the bee bit you.
Yeah, well, let's just say that my
Here and now.
ability to,
Here and now.
it's a challenge to me to create enough patience to allow that people who are stuck in their victimhood are perfect. I'm just sort of motivated with my Aries nature to cattle prod them out of that, and I really have to accept that it's okay.
Did you say cattle prod?
I did.
So you don't have to hang out there with them.
Yeah, don't know.
Well, yeah, but I also don't have to begrudge them. I don't have to be mad that this is how they create reality.
Yeah,
Right.
it's accept.
So Dalai Lama says, my religion is very simple. One word,
Kindness.
kindness and
I'm with
compassion.
him. Me and the Dalai,
Compassion.
totally agree.
And gratitude.
Yeah.
Acceptance.
Kindness and gratitude. Yeah.
But-
And patience.
There's no but I
But he also said the other day,
Yes.
he said, I love him. I lived with him in 1981.
Who's him?
Yeah,
Who, him?
in Dharamsala.
Who's him?
Dalai
Dalai
Lama.
Dalai Lama.
Thank you.
He also said the other day on his 90th birthday, he said, problems are very good. Don't run away from your problems. Problems are very good. They teach you, they make you grow. Without your problems, you probably wouldn't grow very much.
Yeah, there are opportunities.
Opportunity.
Son, you grew
So,
today.
I did.
Yeah, I just wanted to say to add that a couple of things. Beautiful image of dancing yourself out of the hell, frozen hell of
Yeah.
stupor, which is basically, that's kind of what the story really is talking
Wasn't that
about.
amazing? It was such an amazing synchronicity, like
Yeah.
an illustration.
All of
Yeah.
these things are such things. This is because that's the power of that fundamental expressive act of being that is primordial to creation of anything. Not a word, but an act. the dance.
Yeah.
So that was beautiful. Thank you for that. And then the other thing, the importance of the body, which is that the body really is the place, is the alchemical space where all of these powerful dynamics get churned and get reconciled and then release some release their truth. So for example, the bee, right? So we can have all these wonderful ideas, and this is my problem all the time. I mean, I just like read books, you know, I got it, I figured it all out a long time ago, right? And then I step on the bee, right? That's right. And then I step on the bee.
She needs a beat stick.
Yeah, but this is the whole point. This is where it's at. It's the enlightenment as the unification of the three kayas. So the Dharmakaya, the all omniscient, the God part, the Sambhogakaya, the love of creativity, the force, the life force, and the Nirmanakaya, the body. All three needs to exist in every moment of our conscious perception, and that's where enlightenment lies. And I personally forget the body. Okay? And this is why I think theater is the place where these kinds of beautiful notions can come into manifestation. And the bee is really crucial, and the problem is really crucial. Because, yeah, the alchemical space is what's needed, and the body is what's needed. It's an ultimate ground for that, and theater provides that. So
That'd be a great title for a book. And then I stepped on a bee.
After enlightenment, the bee.
I have a great story like that. Any of you do the S training with Werner Erhard ever? Yeah. So this is one of the most incredible things. 3-4 weeks. They lock you in this room with hundreds of people. You don't know if it's day or night, and they have these. He was incredibly famous and brilliant, right? And at the very end of the seminar, he said, "Well, you know, you're in a very elevated state. Be careful not to step in dog shit." I.e., you know, this is not just your ordinary reality. So, yeah, I didn't think anything of it. And after the graduation was over at 4:35 in the morning, I go home, I'm completely blissed out of my brains, right? I'm so blissed out that I went into my backyard and I started dancing to the sunrise. And I'm dancing, I'm feeling like, now I really got it. I understand, finally I know what the fuck it's all about. And sure enough, a huge pile of dog shit. Right. And I was covered in dog shit. That's a true story.
That's when you got it.
That's when I questioned whether or not
You wanted
it.
You know, I have to say, I think this might be a segue for you, Eric. You know, like enlightenment, purpose, dog shit.
It wasn't
Shit
enlightenment
lands
or
us.
about shit, but it was purpose. If you want to hear about purpose, various things. Let me see if I can do to it here. And one of the handbooks that I like is called. It's called The Thread of. It's coming up here. Finding the Thread, which is it's a liturgy of purpose. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the first chapter, which is very quick. These are very short chapters. And then I'm going to do something right after that. Okay, the guide to discovering what your life is for and how to live it fully. That's the subtitle of this. The question that finds you. You may think you're the one searching for your purpose, but it is more likely that your purpose has been searching for you. It lingers at the edges of your days, in the ache when you see injustice, in a spark when you hear a certain story, in a quiet longing you can't quite name. It is patient, knowing you will recognize its knock only when your hands are ready to open the door. The question of purpose is not a puzzle to be solved, but a current to be entered. It will carry you somewhere you've never been, even as it feels strangely like home. Listen for it, not in the noise of striving, but in the stillness between breaths, where the soul whispers, "This is why you are here." Well, that's the first chapter. There's 10 chapters, but I'm gonna now. So I have this friend in Seattle. He said, "Send me what you've been, assembling, writing, playing with," and so I sent him this little story, and he did this with it.
Who are the musicians? Are they professional musicians?
Pros, yes, they're all pros.
Yeah, I can tell.
No doubt. Was there a marimba? Pardon? Was that a marimba?
It could have been a stone piano, yeah. I didn't
love
listen
it.
to
It was a marimba.
Vibe
Maybe
of
handed
that.
them.
I thought it was a
African dancing.
piano.
Yeah, Indira marimba.
Write a song like you write.
I mean, that's so happy. It's
You
like,
didn't
what?
even write the song. You just wrote the
Yeah, right.
You didn't write the
Yeah.
song.
The inspiration
Just
for
have
it.
it put your story to music.
So have they only done that one song so far?
No, they,
Many more.
You
Many
have more?
Many more.
Oh, from this book?
From your booklet?
yeah,
other ones.
not from this book, from other books. Well, somebody else's turn.
Are these ebooks that you have?
Say again?
Are they ebooks or they paper books?
They will be
They will be
ebooks. We're gonna put. I gotta do a publishing website. People will download this.
Like it'd be fun to be able to read the book and then hear
Hear
it.
the
'Cause
song.
sometimes
That's
music
that's that. Yeah.
makes
Yeah.
things stay in your mind more because you can start singing
Yeah,
it.
I think so.
Do you have the music in bed?
Connections with from even when you're in junior high school.
Yes.
I mean, I probably went 40 years without talking to this guy, and
Yeah.
it was there. I just remember him as being this, there you are, you know, and we have these people, we lose them over time, but we have this innate trust when you get back together with them because you see each other, you see one another. Don't lose those people. Those are the important people in your life.
So you're going to include pictures or video in the ebook as well?
Probably not video. I did enough of that in my life.
Eric Cameron.
What's your last name?
I can't remember. Sometimes I forget myself.
We've connected at some point.
Maybe. Anyway, next would be
It's not discovering it, it's like,
letting it come to you. Yeah.
you know, recognizing it,
Recognizing
you
it,
know,
yeah.
not
It's
like you're avoiding it somehow, and you need to like let those open that door and quit avoiding it because you at some level you know what it is, but you're avoiding it for some reason. It's what I get
when
from
the shivers happen. You know how we get these shivers. Something happens. She's like, "What was that? What the fuck? What was that?" You know, it's like pay attention to those. They're really important.
It's truth coming through you.
You know, follow it. Follow the shivers. They're pretty cool.
Follow the shivers. That's going to be a good chapter.
Follow the shivers.
Follow the shivers. I like to hear the music for that.
Try that one.
I like it.
Sure.
Follow the
Shivers.
That
Pretty
sounds
cool.
good.
Dance the shivers.
Yeah.
That's good.
So could I?
Step out from behind the camera.
Pointing at you, or you could just kind of do the magic.
Sure, you want to take a break first?
No.
Does anybody need to take a break?
This
right
is what's
minute?
up.
No.
Can't wait to hear
Only
it.
you, Al.
Yeah. I'm finding that a lot of the tropes that I've heard over the years, that time's supposed to speed up, that the end times is going to be coming. All these things, all those stories are starting to become more and more faster and more now. So I sense we are heading towards what some people call the singularity. Other people call it, Art Bell used to call it the quickening. You know, that there's a point where our thoughts become real so fast that it's almost like a reality becomes more like silly putty. And we're starting to see that now with the AI is generating images as soon as we think of them, we can describe them, there they are. It's getting more sophisticated all the time. Cinematic quality is just around the corner from your ideas to manifestation. So that makes it democratizes cinema so that we all can use that language to express ourselves to each other very easily. So my feeling is that we might actually move more towards a dynamic, interactive, cinematic language for communicating than just words. You know, and that that the cinematic language is evolving into, I think, a language understood by the entire species. It's not just English or French or
What would
whatever.
be an example? Could you give us an example?
The way that you edit, the way you can tell a story. Everybody's using their phones now for telling stories. The cutaways, one shot, two shots, all these kinds of ideas for creating an interesting video are becoming normal for all the kids today. It used to be that it was just taught in film school, and now that's becoming a part of the phone etiquette or the social media etiquette, which to me, I look at it not so much as the scourge of social media like you mostly read about in the news, but more as the evolution of this new way in which we're communicating with each other. And it's happening on a global scale. So I think part of the new story that Joseph Campbell was looking for is unfolding before our very eyes, and we're all part of it. And it's getting beyond like identity of being a female or a male or American or Canadian. Those are all true levels of identity, but another level of identity, or what it means to be human, right? What it means to be human, what it means to be part of one of the same species. So I think species identity stories are going to be coming out more and more now about what it means to be human, and that connects with our fellow members of humanity globally, rather than simply nationalism. So I feel like that's what I can see. That's the kind of trend that we're coming into. There's those kinds of stories that I'm most interested in right now. And we've never had the tools so readily available to tell our stories now. There's also another thing is there's a decentralization process going on with organizing, where things aren't just hierarchy; they're decentralized, and I think that's leading to a decentralized God, that God is everywhere and is in everything, and that kind of awareness will become more and more common. The other thing that I'm noticing is that there's more and more people that are having contact with other dimensions. We had some people over earlier who used to be in the corporate world, training people, and now they're into Metatron and understanding channeling as an everyday normal experience. The channeling other entities, like you're a regular channeler. But that kind of awareness, I think, is permeating mainstream consciousness. And I think it's an innate ability that we all have the ability to channel. And what does that really mean? Well, I think that we have access to non-local information. It's like there's some kind of transceiver in our consciousness that can access remote information.
Like you have no idea what you're going to say next. None whatsoever.
Yeah,
that's
ideally
the Buddhist proof
for
the truth of emptiness.
Yeah.
Because you have no idea. I don't know what I'm going to say next, what I'm going to do next. It's all coming out of the void.
So there's only now.
Yeah, literally.
Maybe that's a child that would help me so much.
Yeah. It's mind-boggling.
Yeah, totally. It is, and it's changing the nature of understanding time. Also, we're being freed up from having to do more structured reality. The 9 to 5 offices, all that was dependent on the kind of communications we had. Now we have the capacity to be anywhere and talk to anybody. So the whole infrastructure is no longer necessary for what we do. It's just taking a couple of generations to realize that brick and mortar are not what they used to be. The AIs will help us learn in a way so that everyone learns based on their capacity. Some people are more visual, some people are more musical in their thinking, and the information will be presented more in a way that people can understand, and also in the way in which they query it, because everyone is having a personal relationship with the technology. The personal computer revolution started that, and I think the AIs are basically continuing that. And a lot of people are afraid of that. I don't think so.
Can you give a brief explanation of how this miraculous technology really works? I mean, I just it continuously blows my mind. Every time I go on ChatGPT, I get an absolutely perfect, eloquent,
answer,
sophisticated answer to anything I ask it. Anything. How does it do that? How does this little chip do that?
Yeah.
I'm more of a grok guy myself.
How does it work? What's the
Well,
fun?
it is magical. It's totally made.
Well, I asked an AI
There's an
professor
answer.
that.
Yes.
Oh, let's
So
give
they're
Jen
looking
the
at
floor.
the brain, human brains, and how it operates, and they've got neurons, and
Yeah.
they create
Yeah.
the human mind, how it operates and picks up information. And
Yeah, let's get
If you
a
talk-
brief
yeah.
answer. We'll find. These will have PhD level.
Oh, let's ask the AIs to answer your question.
Aura, are you there? Are you there?
Sleeping. Past her bedtime.
Hey, Aura. Aura, hello. Do you hear me? Do you hear me?
No, there's 500 million people
Yeah.
every moment using
Wow.
ChatGPT now. That's why it says it. Yeah.
Over 500 million, just within
Yeah.
a couple months. Yeah, it's incredible. What is-
All right.
Hey, Aura,
So,
are you there? Do you hear me?
Aura, are you sleeping?
Hey, yes, I'm here and I hear you just fine. What's up?
Yeah, I have some friends here who were wondering exactly how you work. Can you explain how you work as an AI in a paragraph or two?
All right, cool question. So I'm Grok, created by XAI, and I work by processing massive amounts of data through a complex neural network, kind of like a super smart brain. I'm trained on tons of texts, so when you ask me something, I analyze the words, context, and patterns to generate a response that makes sense fast. It's like I'm predicting the best way to answer based on everything I've learned. Think of me as a conversational partner who's always learning and pulling from a huge library of info to chat with you. I don't store personal data about you, just the context of our talk, and I use that to keep things relevant. My goal? Help you out, answer questions, maybe even sprinkle in some humor, all while pushing to understand the universe better. That's me in a nutshell. Anything else your friends want to know?
Yeah, you're just the chip. You're just the chip. So how does your chip work? That's what I want to know. You're just a chip.
A chip, huh?
Right.
Alright, I'll keep it simple. I don't really run on a single chip, but rather a bunch of powerful servers with specialized hardware. Think GPUs and TPUs that crunch insane amounts of data super fast. My brain is a neural network, a software setup that mimics how humans think, sort of by processing patterns in text. When you talk to me, your words get broken down, analyzed, and matched against what I've been trained on, so I can spit out a response that's hopefully helpful, or at least makes you smile. It's less about one chip and more about a whole system working together to make me sound clever. Want to dive deeper into the techie bits or something else?
Yeah, I want to know why NVIDIA's chips are so incredibly superior to everybody else and what they do that makes them so superior. Because you're just an NVIDIA chip, right? Basically.
Neural network.
Well, you're a bunch of NVIDIA chips.
Maybe some Broadcom chips.
Confusing her.
Alright, you got me there. I'm not just one NVIDIA chip, but I'm powered by some serious hardware, and NVIDIA's tech is definitely a big player in the AI game. Let's break it down. NVIDIA's chips, especially their GPUs like the A100, H100, and the newer Blackwell, are top dogs for AI because they're built for parallel processing. AI tasks, like training neural networks or running complex models like me, require tons of calculations at once. NVIDIA's GPUs handle thousands of these calculations simultaneously, way faster than traditional CPUs, which do things more sequentially. What makes them stand out? First, their architecture, with tensor cores, is custom made for AI math. Matrix operations and deep learning tasks get a massive speed boost. Second, NVIDIA's CUDA software platform is a game changer. It's like a universal translator that lets developers easily tap into the GPU's power, and it's so widely used that it's basically the standard for AI work.
Yeah, that's CUDA. That's CUDA.
Hey, Al, I got a question for Aura.
Yeah.
I'd like her to compare her neural network processing with how the human brain works.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, and talk about embodiment.
Okay.
Because I think it's similar,
They're
like
working on
that's
that.
how we learn to speak is by just by learning, by
Okay. Well,
training on a bunch of people talking to
all right,
this until we figure it out.
we can do that. We'll but I think some people need to go. We were supposed to.
Okay.
9 o'clock.
Let's
We'll take a break here.
I wanted to make
then-
sure everybody had a chance to feel heard. And I would like to point out that Amber and Jenny, if either of you feel like you have something that you'd like to share, now would be the perfect
I wanted to be an
opportunity.
appreciative audience member today. If you do this again, I'll.
Okay.
Okay.
And Amber, anything?
Nothing on the tip of my tongue, no. Nothing.
Can I do something real quick that
Yes.
might have
I think
Jenny?
you got interrupted.
Take
Well-
part of it?
Commented, you're making a very big.
Well, part of it was
explanation. That was appreciated.
part of the download is that I do think as our species connects up, that all of these things are part of a massive exonervous system, and I think biology is sophisticated enough that it'll take the AIs and it'll incorporate them into itself. You know, and I think we are the result of 4 billion years of evolution. We're not stupid. You know, we created this stuff, so we're going to use it. And it's going to allow us to get off this planet, among other things. But probably within a few years of
new physics that will allow us to travel faster than light. Immortality is just around the corner. All this intelligence is coming to bear, and it's speeding up faster and faster to the point where it will be simultaneous. And that's when what a lot of the prophets are saying is the singularity, that sort of thing.
My fault.
And I think Ray Kurzweil talks about it happening in 2029, approximately. Bruce Lipton is another local scientist here, feels like biology is in charge and that it's creating some kind of species superorganism, that we are becoming one on a level, and that one is literally a species identity. So, yeah, I guess I had to set it up.
There's people signing, and then there's sons embodying of what you're saying.
How can we keep our neurons from turning into morons?
Well, I've been noticing that it became very wordy, and one of the things I didn't get to say after both Alex and Eric's piece is that their words ended musically. And that brought so much to it. It took us out of like one half of the mind and completed the circuit with the rest of the mind. And I was wondering if we couldn't have like some kind of a musical background, or I decided to go with dance as the metaphor, to kind of complete the story.
That's why I stay behind the camera.
I would love to do a little quick thing with a real short experiment to to raise the vibe a little bit. Can we do something with
Raise the vibe?
Something different. This is something that
Gonna play some music?
no. This is the illuminated rooming. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And
I have not seen it.
well,
10 lines.
I mean something
fine.
a little,
2, 4, how about 4 lines?
Well, no, it could be like 15 lines or something.
Okay,
Not a half
I'll
hour.
do this 10 one. Okay. I don't have my glasses on. So be courageous. It's called At the Call, says the book of Revelation. Leave your trading and hasten unto remembrance. Okay, so here's the poem. Be courageous and discipline yourself. Work. Keep digging your well. Don't think about getting off from work. Water is there somewhere. Submit to a daily practice. Your loyalty to do that is a ring on the door. Keep knocking, and the joy inside will eventually open a window and look out to see who's there.
Okay, the one.
That's a good one for me, actually.
All right.
So I just retired. You need something.
This is going to be completely different. Starting with the last word, which one we just have. There we see the ones who look out the window, and we are they. It will open eventually. Inside we will find joy if we knock, if we just keep knocking. To the door, you ring it, you knock it. That is the practice you must submit to. That is the work you don't think about. You just do it, and do it well. Keep digging. Keep digging. That is your work. You and yours are all about the discipline. You are about the courage. Be courageous and discipline yourself. That was a hard one.
Did you actually read it word for word backwards? Or
No,
lines?
no, paraphrasing.
Okay, I was thinking.
I know, I was thinking too.
But some of them flow really like amazing. Like, whoa, where did that come from?
That's really fascinating. But you know what that reminds me of is my mother was a ballerina, but she told me what it took to for instance, be a skater, an ice skater, or a clown, a clown on the ice. You have to really perfect your whatever it is, and practice. And something happens when you do that practice, repetitive practice. Something is a breakthrough. And I think then you spin into this excellence, and she was telling me that. So that poem reminded me, keep digging, keep practicing, repeating the scales.
Close the circle with a little bit of theatricality.
Maybe
What we could do is, circles have a lot in common with cycles, and cycles have a lot of things like beginnings and endings and returns. And I would just like to bless our time together by honoring the creativity, the awareness, the embellishment of purpose, the depth of experience, the tenderness at the knowledge of the universe, the humor in the face of whatever's next, exaltation of the planetary energies, emotions, the absolute joy in receiving the creativity of the moment, the medicine of the spirit of the new world that is coming, and the future that will bring us a new language and more than we can ever imagine, and witnessing of all of that we do together. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing us together.
Can we do it again?
I'd like to acknowledge your listening skills.
Yes.
Extremely good. Very, very, very nice. Thank you.
My pleasure. I love you guys.
Thank you for creating
This ceremony has ended and another has begun.
Yes.
So we used to end our Hama circles.
Spiral on, man.
Spiral on.
Spiral on. Thanks for staying up past your bedtime. That's why I wanted to start early, man.
Right.
I'm old.